Hello there. My name is Dr. Chiron Wesley Graves, and I am here with, let's start with Okoye. Say hello, Okoye. And Eshu. In today's video, I want to talk about incomplete dominance. Let's start our explanation with a textbook definition of incomplete dominance. So incomplete dominance occurs when one allele of a gene is unable to express its full phenotype in a heterozygous individual, leading to an intermediate phenotype of both homozygous phenotypes or homozygotes. And the example gene I want to use to explain incomplete dominance is the Eden RB2 gene in ball pythons. And I've selected this gene in part, or this example in part, primarily because there was a paper published in 2023 by my colleague, Dr. Hannah Seidel, my colleague at Eastern Michigan, Dr. Hannah Seidel, and her students at EMU. And I won't go into great detail with this paper, but I will include a link to the article in the description of this video. So the Eden RB2 gene encodes for the endothelin receptor B2, or Eden RB2, which is required for proper proliferation and migration of chromatophore precursor cells. Those are the different cells responsible for producing the different pigments that we see in ball pythons. The Eden RB2 gene has multiple alleles that we're going to talk about today, or talk about in this video. One obviously is the wild type allele, and that allele encodes for functional Eden RB2. Then there's the Yellowbelly allele, which encodes for a loss of function Eden RB2, and that results in a phenotype of white skin with faint yellow dorsal stripes, and I'll show the pictures of the actual phenotypes in a minute here. A third allele for this gene is what's been called the spark allele, and that encodes for a loss of function Eden RB2 as well. But this leads to moderately lighter color in the ball python and black dorsal stripes. Similarly, there's the specter allele. This one also encodes for a loss of function Eden RB2 and moderately lighter color and black dorsal stripes as well. Essentially, the difference between these two alleles is the mutation that causes them. So technically, there are two different alleles. The phenotypes are slightly different. The homozygous phenotypes are slightly different as well. Then there's the gravel allele. Once again, an allele that with a mutation that leads to a loss of function in the Eden RB2 protein. And this leads to a less severe phenotype, mildly lighter color, and altered patterning. And then finally, the asphalt allele, which is similar to the gravel allele in that there is a phenotype of mildly lighter color and altered patterning, but the actual mutation that causes this allele is different from the one that causes the gravel allele. Figure 1 of the article shows the different phenotypes. It's a wonderful figure that shows the phenotypes of the different alleles, which in the paper is referred to as a Yellowbelly series. Ball python breeders also refer to this series of alleles as the superstripe complex, so you may hear it referred to that way. And the figure shows the phenotypes of the homozygous individuals from most severe phenotypes, which are caused by homozygotes with the Yellowbelly allele, to least severe phenotypes, which are the result of either the gravel or the asphalt alleles, being homozygous for those alleles. So as I pointed out in the previous slide, we have our wild type allele, and figure 1 gives us an image of a wild type phenotype to go along with those alleles in a homozygous form. Then we have the Yellowbelly allele, whose homozygous phenotype is, like I said, a white snake with, can't really see it in this image, but the yellow dorsal stripes. Then we have the specter and spark alleles, and we can see the phenotypes of those two alleles in their homozygous state. And lastly, the gravel and asphalt alleles and what their respective homozygous genotypes the phenotypes look like for those respective homozygotes. And what we can see by putting them next to each other is Eshu is clearly has a different color, and then there are also some other notable phenotypic differences. Like if we look in Eshu's pattern, we'll see what ball python breeders call flaming here. We do not see that intense type of flaming along the sides for Okoye. And then Eshu also, let's see if he will, they're kind of wrapped around me pretty good here. So I'll show you Okoye's belly here. And then I'll try to show you Eshu's belly. See if we can do a shot with both of them. Turn you this way, Eshu. You see how Eshu is going around Okoye, so you can really see the differences here. Now, what makes an incomplete dominant trait an incomplete dominant trait? To answer this question, let's recall our definition of incomplete dominance. Recall that incomplete dominance occurs when one allele is unable to express its full phenotype in a heterozygous individual. And so we get somewhat of an intermediate phenotype of both homozygous genotypes. So in the case of the wild type allele, Okoye is an example of a homozygous individual with a homozygous wild type genotype. I do not have an example of a homozygous Yellowbelly individual. Those are referred to as ivories. But those individuals are homozygous for the Yellowbelly allele. I do, however, have Eshu, who is an example of a heterozygous individual for the Yellowbelly allele. And as we can see, Eshu is unable to express the full phenotype of the homozygous Yellowbelly individual. Also, he's unable to express the full phenotype of the homozygous wildtype individual that we have with Okoye. There are hundreds, literally hundreds of different incomplete dominant traits in ball pythons, and that's one of the things that makes ball pythons so cool. That really makes breeding and keeping ball pythons really fun. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you the next time.